in the heart of a vast and endless desert, where the wind carved dunes into shapes that seemed like sleeping beasts. There was a kingdom ruled by a young Khan named Zahir. His city was a jewel in the sand, its walls painted with gold dust and its towers reaching toward the burning sun. People came from faraway lands to trade in its markets, to taste the sweet dates that grew only in its oasis, and to hear the music that danced through its streets at night. But beneath the splendor, the kingdom carried a shadow. Its wells had begun to dry. Year after year, the rains grew weaker, and whispers spread that the desert was reclaiming the land. One sweltering afternoon, as Zahir walked alone beyond the city gates to think, he heard the faintest sound of trickling water. It was strange no streams ran this far from the oasis. He followed the sound through the dunes until he found a hollow in the earth, hidden between two massive stones.
There, at the bottom, was a small well.
Its water was clear as glass and shimmered as if it held the moon inside it, though the sun was high above. Zahir knelt to drink, but before his lips touched the water, the ground trembled and a voice like the echo of storms spoke. "Who dares drink from my well without my leave?" From the shadows rose a figure of impossible size, made of shifting smoke and glimmers of lighties like polished bronze. Voice deep as thunder. "I am Rakim, Genie of the Hidden Well," he said. "For centuries, I have guarded its water, allowing only those who prove themselves worthy to drink. Speak, Khan of the Sands, why have you come?" Zahir, though startled, stood tall. "My people are thirsty. My land is fading. If you have water enough to save them, I will pay any price you name." The genie's gaze burned brighter. "Water I have, enough to turn your desert into a garden. But my gift is bound to a test. You have 3 chances to prove your heart is not led by greed. Fail, and you will leave with nothing." Zahir agreed without hesitation. The first test came at dawn the next day, when Rakim led Zahir to a valley where a lone travola lay by the roadside, weak from thirst.
The genie whispered, "Here is water enough for you alone.
"Drink, and be strong for what lies ahead, or give it away and risk your own strength." Zahir knelt beside the traveler, saw the cracked lips and trembling hands, and without speaking, placed the flask in his palms. The man drank, his eyes filling with gratitude, and vanished like a wisp of smoke. Rakim's voice rumbled softly. 1 test passed. The second test led them to a marketplace in a distant town, where a quarrel had broken out between 2 merchants over a chest of gold. The genie said, "You are Khan. You could claim the gold and end their fighting, using it to buy grain for your people. Or you can return it to the one who truly owns it, though it brings no gain to your kingdom." Zahir watched the men argue, then lifted the chest and opened it before the crowd. Inside was not gold, but a letter from a father to his son, proof of the rightful owner. Zahir handed the chest to the older merchant, whose face softened in relief. Again, the man vanished like mist. Rakim's smile deepened. 2 tests passed. For the third and final test, Rakim took Zahir to a hill at the edge of the desert, where a single fig tree grew. Under it sat a child crying softly, holding a broken flute. The genie said, "Your city waits for you. The well's water is ready, but this child asks for your time to mend his flute and teach him a song. You may leave now and claim the water, or stay and risk losing the gift." Zahir looked toward the horizon, imagining his people waiting, then back at the child's tear-streaked face. He sat down, took the flute, and worked patiently until it played again. Together, they made music until the sun slipped low. When the last note faded, the child's form shimmered and vanished, and in his place stood Rakim, eyes warm with approval. "You have chosen kindness over haste, mercy over gain, and care over ambition. The well is yours, and its water will never run dry as long as your heart remains true." When Zahir returned to the city, the hidden well appeared in the heart of the main square, its water sparkling in the sunlight. The people rejoiced, and the desert began to bloom. But more than the water, it was the Khan's choices that the people remembered. The way he put others before himself, even when the stakes were high. And deep in the desert, when the wind was just right, some swore they could hear a voice like thunder and silk whispering, "True wealth is not in what you hold, but in what you give."